Welcome to episode 2 of Through the Glass. This podcast will be featuring the latest Philadelphia Flyers news as well as news around the NHL. In this episode, we will be recapping Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals as well as previewing the Philadelphia Flyers 2024 potential draft picks. So Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals happened. We have now sadly come to a conclusion of the 2023-2024 NHL season. On episode 1, I made a call for Florida to get their game back after letting the series out of their hands. And perhaps it was a little too much on my end because they were kind of the only ones that responded to the pressure of Game 7. Going into the series, I had originally feared that the Edmonton Oilers were lacking the offensive depth that the Dallas Stars had. To make this an interesting contest against Florida. And having 2 to 3 superstar players to rely on kind of ended up being their weakness in Game 7. The Oilers looked absolutely gassed. No one aside from the top line and Skinner really looked prepared for the game. The last 6 minutes of the game were a bit sad to watch, at least from the Edmonton perspective. They were literally running out of steam and they were getting outskated and taking falls out of exhaustion. And then the final seconds when you see Connor McDavid aggressively trying to get the puck from the boards and to get one more chance, and my heart fell for them. But before we get into the crowning of Lord Stanley's Cup, how about the Boston Bruins right in the middle of Game 7 announcing a trade of Linus Ullmark to the Ottawa Senators for basically a bag of pucks? It's no big deal. You just broke one of the most loved goalie tandems in the NHL. Nobody likes the Bruins. Well, I do, but that was the one thing that people liked about the Bruins. So congratulations, you're back to being the most hated team on the NHL, and there's nothing to sugarcoat it this time. I know it was looking very likely that this would be Ole's last year with the Bruins, but come on, if you're gonna give up one of the top goalies in the NHL, a former Vezina Trophy winner, I expect a lot more than just a little bit of extra cap space from the deal. This is probably the Bruins' second worst trade in my lifetime. I think the Joe Thornton deal to the Sharks in 05 is still the worst, but this one hits pretty hard. Anyway, back to Game 7. The Panthers won, of course. They take the Stanley Cup. Nobody cares, so we're going to move along. The NHL draft is this week, but we'll get to that in a moment because there was another breaking news just today as I'm recording this. So on Sunday, June 23rd, you start seeing heavy rumors circling once again that Matvei Michkov was ending his KHL contract and was going to make his way to the Flyers this year. Well, as of June 25th, as I'm recording this, the Flyers released a statement from Danny Briere confirming that Michkov is indeed coming to Philadelphia. Now, I can't tell you how exciting this is for Flyers fans. This is the moment we've all been waiting for, but it wasn't supposed to happen yet. This was at least another 2 or 3 years off. So we are speeding up our rebuild time frame. So now that we have the news that Michkov is coming, I will be basing the Flyers 2024 draft picks based on his immediate addition to the roster for next season. So Michkov plays right wing, and I doubt that he gets moved from his position right away, being the top producer that he has been. So the speculated pairing for Michkov right now looks like it's going to be Tyson Foerster, Morgan Frost, and Matvei Michkov. So Tyson Foerster has been playing right, but he can also play and has been interchanged to left before. So he moves over to left wing, and then you have Morgan Frost at center, and Matvei Michkov is at right wing. And I think that's looking like a pretty solid top line, if not second line. So I think the position that has the biggest hole at the moment is center. Us and everyone else. Currently we have Sean Couturier, Morgan Frost, Ryan Johansson, Scott Lofton, and Ryan Poehling on center. So Scott Lofton has been pretty solid in the bottom rotation, either third or fourth line center. But his name is frequently thrown around in the trade talk, and his future with the Flyers remains a question mark at the end of every season. I thought Ryan Poehling showed a lot of promise this past season, and I'd like to see that carry on over to the next season, but I still see him kind of as a bottom center and probably occasional healthy scratch for the time being, unless he can really break that ceiling. And for Sean Couturier, He continues to have unlucky breaks with his prolonged injuries and most recently his notable captain's curse, which we basically like saw a steady decline in his performance since being named the 20 captain in Flyers franchise history. Now, I like Coots and I'd really like to see him find his game again, and hopefully there's still some potential with this being his first healthy offseason in a while. And like Coots, Morgan Frost is also constantly under the magnifying glass. A lot of people believe he has already reached his ceiling and don't think that he has lived up to be or will ever be the player that people hoped he would be. I think Frosty still has great potential. Keep in mind his ice time has been limited a lot, and especially this past season, he was also a healthy scratch a couple of times. I think he really proved his maturity as a player and his ability to take criticism, especially from John Tortorella this year. If Torts and Frost can reach like some sort of healthy balance between Frosty's play of style and Torts having more trust in his abilities and giving him the ice time that he should be getting, I think this could be the year where we see Frost's true potential, especially with the addition of Michkov being in his line this year. He's just a player that I don't want to see traded right away because I know he's going to be a star, like the star player we're all hoping to be the second he gets traded to a different team. As for Ryan Johansson, I can't like really give a fair take on him. I feel like I didn't see much of his play once we acquired him from the Walker trade this March, and that Walker trade is another story, but I guess we kind of needed the money. Um, I don't know that he returns to the lineup next season. With that being said, there's still need for a top center, with Frost and potentially Paling like being the only centers currently in the lineup that are really capable of top play. So just one more point before we move on to the draft. We do have in the system Denver Barkey, 19-year-old center from the London Knights who had an outstanding season. He signed a 3-year entry-level contract with the Flyers starting this upcoming 24-25 season. So it's looking highly possible that he can probably make the team out of camp. I think he will be spending like probably the beginning of the season with Lehigh Valley, and he'll get eventually called up to the lineup, finding a permanent place in the roster like somewhere in the second half of the season. That being said, we still need to get a center in this draft. As for what that center position looks like, I have my top pick for the Flyers being Konsta Helenius. He's 18-year-old center from Finland. I think he has potential to be a great two-way center. He has great defensive stick, he stays with his check, and he can take away plays. He's a bit of a smaller guy, he's 5'11", but he's a strong guy, and he's not afraid to use his body, and he can also play wing. I'm really pulling for a Helenius pick, but with us having like the 12th pick right now, New Jersey has also shown like great interest in him, and right now they're ahead of us at pick number 10, but there could be like a last minute trade where we get an earlier spot so we can hopefully get Helenius. We'll see. If we don't get Konsta Helenius and for some reason Berkeley Cadden is still available, he is my second choice. Cadden is 18 years old. He's a center who just came off an explosive season with the Spokane Chiefs in the WHL. He had 54 goals and a total of 116 points, and he was third in the league in goals. He's also a shorty. He's 5'11", not the biggest guy, but that hasn't stopped him from taking opportunities. Elite Prospects currently has him ranked at number 8, so I think the Flyers have a better shot at Konsta Helenius right now. So what else do the Flyers need? I think the other hole to fill for me is a winger, preferably someone that can play left. Currently, we have Noah Cates, Nick Delorier, and Joel Farabee, with Tyson Forster potentially playing left as well, assuming Michkov comes in this season. If the Flyers don't go center first, I like left wing as the next best choice. And my first pick for left is Tij Ginla, who is, of course, son of Calgary Flames legend and Hockey Hall of Famer Jerome McGinley. He had 47 goals with the Kelowna Rockets in the WHL last season, and he was tied for 6th in the league. He's also one of the youngest players in the draft since he won't be turning 18 until August. So he has great goal-scoring ability. He's an excellent skater. He can outskate his opponents, has great puck handling ability. Now, the odds of the Flyers getting a TJ Ginla don't seem very likely. I remember when the conversations were starting in March, it was looking like Gillen could go like a potential 12 or number 13 pick. And it was looking like the Flyers might actually have a chance of getting him. But of course, yeah, like a spectacular season, and the interest in him has like tremendously grown. And Elite Prospects now has him ranked at number 6 overall. So good luck getting him, Flyers. Another option for left wing is Cole Eiserman. Cole is coming off, I believe, his first full season with the U.S. national U18 team. He scored 58 goals and a total of 89 points. So his career numbers with the U.S. national development team are 127 goals and 193 points. That makes him the second in point totals in U.S. development team history. And that is surpassing the likes of Patrick Kane and Austin Matthews, putting him in second only behind Jack Hughes, who had like 228 points. And while Iserman is a great shooter and scorer, I think I'd still like to see him build up his defensive game. And that's why I'm picking TJ Ginla over him. Anywho, let me know who you guys think the Flyers should pick in the 2024 NHL draft. The first round of the NHL draft will be this Friday, June 28th in Las Vegas, starting at 7 p.m. on ESPN. And then rounds 2 through 7 of the NHL draft will be on Saturday, June 29th, starting at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, also on ESPN. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. And I guess maybe like, comment, subscribe if you'd like. Bye!